Hi there, my name is Doug, and I have just met you, and I love you. And welcome back to Tony the Movie Guy podcast. Today we are going to be talking about squirrels! Today we are going to be talking about Pixar movies. Enjoy!
All right, hello everyone. It's Tony the Movie Guy and
Miss Money Annie here.
That's good. You're doing it right. And we have a special guest with us this evening, Madison, aka Madi2theMax.
Hello everybody, it is Madi2theMax.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Okay, so first of all, this is going to be a really fun episode. We're going to focus on Pixar movies. We're going to discuss and debate all the Pixar movies.
My favorite thing
Yeah,
in the
Madison,
world,
you're going to probably trounce us on fun facts.
My years of knowledge are finally coming into play.
Well, look, first of all, I really want to talk about your show and what you do because you're the star, the producer, the director, I think the writer, the costume designer, the editor of your own YouTube show called Madi2theMax.
Yeah.
And you do impressions and stuff. That's so much more. I mean, you do the backdrops, you do the costumes. It's so creative and inventive. And obviously, I really like to get familiar with guests I have on. So I watched a whole bunch of your videos.
Yes.
But the best part is I loved quite a few of them. I mean, I like them all, don't get me wrong. But like your Madagascar one, the penguins, just smile and wave, boys.
Just recreating those
smile
all live action. Yeah.
I love that one. The Nightmare Before Christmas one you just did. It was really good.
Was really good.
Tell us a little bit of, how did you get into that? Where did that kind of idea bloom from?
Well, I'm an actress and I'm a character actress and a voiceover actress, and I've always been just wildly out there.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I love it and I wouldn't change it for the world. But for this, I was like, okay, for my resume, when I send in a headshot, you can't tend to see that because if I'm just smiling in a headshot, you can't really see that. And they're not like, oh, this is a really charactery gal. Let's bring her in. So I started my YouTube channel because I was like, that's it. You know what? I'm just going to show you all the characters I can do. And I started with these original characters of mine that I love. And I love these characters to death.
That's right. You have a bunch of characters you created yourself.
Yeah. But it didn't really take off. I love them. And I created like 50 videos with them. And I would love to bring them back. But what started happening is I then did an impression video of Disney characters. And that just took off.
It blew up.
And it was just like, okay, this really works. And I started doing more and more Disney impressions and DreamWorks and Pixar, different things like that already had a pre-established fan base of people that really liked it. And I was like, this really works. I really like this. And it still showcases my voice acting and my acting. And
I wish everyone could see her pure excitement
so
and
much
enthusiasm.
dynamic.
Yeah, she's so alive. It's great. Carry on.
I like being alive. It's really nice.
Yeah, being alive's nice.
It is. So my YouTube channel has always been my resume.
That's great.
And it's always been like, here, this is what I can do.
And it's yours.
It is. It is 100% mine, and I love it. And I think that's great. And also what I really like to do with it is I like to then be able to make people smile with it.
Which is great.
Like, I get comments that are like people saying, this made me smile. I was having a horrible day, and this made me laugh. And I was like, that is the best.
I mean, that's what art is all about, I think.
So much of art right now is so degrading and
depressing.
Icky, and it's like I am a firm believer that artists create the future, and if what the artists are creating is not a good future, we are not going to have a good future.
It needs to be positive.
Exactly. So that's really what I'm trying to do. Is I'm really trying to create something that is lifting them out of this. Oh, everything's doomed. Like right now, everything that's happening is like a dystopian future kind of thing. It's like, why does it have to be a dystopian future? Why can't we have a nice future where a cool story is happening? Why does everything have to be falling apart? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't work for me.
I love it. And then, the first one I saw was the Hamilton rap.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
And you did that rap. I mean, it was quite impressive. You did it with 50 characters, 30 characters.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a a lot of characters for sure, and a forest fire happening in my backyard at the time.
That's nuts. Yeah. I mean, that video alone has almost, I think, 200,000 views or listens.
Like that.
It's fantastic.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny because I will get like people that will say the same thing. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm only here for because I saw Bill Cipher in the thumbnail." I'm like, "Yeah," or they'll be like, "You did Once Upon a Time characters." I'm like, "Yes," and then the other people that are like, "Once Upon a Time isn't Disney," and I'm like, "Yes, it is. They had a Frozen season, and it's Disney."
You do all kinds, though. You do Disney, Pixar.
Disney.
Is that
Pixar.
the main kind of area?
The main thing is Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks kind of thing, but I've also done like Leica films, or like I just did Hocus Pocus for Halloween, which is actually technically
My
Disney.
wife loves that movie.
Yeah, so
I can't stand it. I'm sorry.
I love that movie.
I understand it is definitely like a cultural thing. If you grew up in the U.S. in the 90s, you were watching Hocus Pocus on Halloween.
She adores it.
Just like every time. So, but there are some things where it's like if I find a TV show that's like, wow, this is like, I did Ruby, which is a cartoon on a YouTube channel that's like really big, and it's not quite anime, but it also doesn't fall into the nice, neat Disney category. But I was like, I really like this show, and they have great voices. I want to do some impressions of these. So it's really things that I'm passionate about that I'm like, oh, I want to try these voices. I want to try and make my voice sound like their voices because they're fun. I like that.
It's fantastic. I love it, and it's extremely infectious, your energy.
Thank you.
So yeah, continue. Don't ever let it go. Also, well, there you go.
I just did Frozen impressions.
Which I watched that one.
The Frozen one.
And people are going to hate me, but I'm not the hugest fan of Frozen itself.
I
but
understand.
I loved.
Oh,
I thought that was awesome.
Yay!
You know what's
I totally
funny?
understand that.
Well, when we first watched that, my wife and I with some friends, Frozen, we didn't get the hype. And we didn't enjoy it, but I've now seen it several more times, and the more I see it, the more it grows on me.
It's really interesting.
I quite enjoy it now.
I had to do kind of a little bit of the opposite, where the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Idina Menzel, I'm a huge Wicked fan.
Right.
So as soon as I heard that, I was like, is that Idina Menzel? I'm pretty sure that's Idina Menzel.
I love Wicked.
Or
So
Adele Dazeem.
Nope, Idina Menzel. We're not
That made her even more known, though. That mistake. It was fantastic.
It's amazing.
So I saw it like 2 times in theaters, and I thought it was really good, but then it kept going. And it kept going.
Right.
And it kept going. And it was like, we should be moving on to the next thing now.
Isn't it the most popular and highest grossing Disney? It's Disney, right?
And I still love it. I think it has a couple of flaws here and there, but it's definitely a great story with some beautiful animation, great acting and everything, and wonderful songs that just won't go away.
Yeah.
I think Moana is better. That's just my opinion.
Agree.
Oh, you like Moana?
I love Moana.
I enjoyed
the
it.
songs in
I really
Moana
love
are
Moana.
amazing.
All right, ladies, I'm going to reel this in. This is wonderful, though. I love it.
Now we got to go to Pixar.
Yes.
No, it's okay. Well, before we do Pixar, first of all, tell the listeners a little bit more in terms of your acting work and stuff like that, because I wasn't so familiar with other things you've done. So, this is your opportunity. Anything else you've done, and also where people can find you. We'll put the links as well at the end, but where can people find you?
Well, really, the main place to find me is on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Madi2theMax. That's MADI2theMax. And I'm that on all social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Tumblr, on Instagram, and on Fiverr also, where you can hire my voiceover services for just starting at $5.
That's awesome. So you do voiceover work as well.
I do voiceover work.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, good. So we're going to go to the main segment, which is going to be a big debate and discussion on Pixar movies. And I'm a little nervous because it's 2 ladies against 1 guy. I think I'm going to get kind of ganged up on. So be gentle.
I think I'm going to gang up
Gentle?
on both of you.
I'm German, Tony. I don't do gentle.
Right, yeah, and she's so full of energy.
I'm going to gang up on both of you. My Pixar knowledge. I have so much Pixar knowledge.
Well, bring it. That's exactly what we want. So here's the thing. I mean, there's only about 18 or 19 Pixar movies in total. So we're just going to go through them all. And we'll discuss, we'll debate them. We can talk about what we like, what we don't like, and kind of go through them that way. One thing I thought that was really fascinating when I was going through the Pixar movies is 10 out of, I think, the 19 or 18 Pixar movies were all nominated for Best Animated Picture, and 8 of them won Oscars. It's pretty incredible. And I think Pixar is probably the only company that really rivals Disney in terms of
Well,
that type of quality production.
Now Disney owns Pixar, so they're not so much
See,
rivals
she knows more than I
anymore.
do. I didn't even know that. Does
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
I actually did know that.
Yeah.
What doesn't Disney
Yeah.
own? It owns Star Wars?
DreamWorks. They don't own DreamWorks.
Yes.
Hold on, doesn't it own Marvel or
Yes.
not? It does.
It does on Marvel. Yep. Yep.
Dag nabbit. Okay, oh yeah, and before we start, this is family friendly, G-rated.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, Miss Money Annie.
No.
No cursing.
He's had to tell me about 16 times.
Okay, good. So let's dive right in. Again, I mean, I love Pixar movies. I'll start off. We'll kind of go through them, and there's no better movie when you talk about Pixar to start off and talk about than Toy Story.
Of course.
I mean, that film was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I remember it when it came out.
Me too.
It was groundbreaking for computer animation. Tom Hanks as Woody, and Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, or as Julie said, that robot spaceman guy.
That's right.
In the last episode, I can't believe she said that.
And Tony looks at her and goes, "You mean Buzz Lightyear?" With disgust.
So, I mean, Toy Story, it was just so groundbreaking, right?
Yeah.
You hadn't seen anything like it. It's become iconic.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about the other films in the series because there's been several of them. But what do you guys want to say about Toy Story? I mean, I love that movie.
I grew up with Toy Story. Woody and Buzz were as well known to me more than my own name. I knew them so completely. I watched that movie so many times. I still have it on VHS.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, that is one of the things it's like, this is going to be really
Do you watch it on VHS or not?
Sometimes, actually. Because we actually still have a VHS player.
That's crazy.
That still runs DVDs and VHS.
Well, I'm older than both of you ladies, so I'm very familiar with VHS.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and I'm still definitely like, I also have Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and all these great things on VHS.
Yeah, by the way,
I
you're
should've
going to
kept.
come back and we're going to do Disney with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Better.
Sorry, Yenny, go on.
Yes.
No, I have it recorded, Toy Story. I DVR'd it to watch it again. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I love it
Absolutely.
so much.
I mean, it's like,
Well,
it
also,
works so well because so many kids are always like, what if my toys are actually coming to life when I leave the room or when I go to sleep? I know I had that growing up.
yeah.
I was like, my toys are totally
it
coming to life.
taps into your imagination.
Absolutely. So them doing that is just like proof. See, proof
It
right there.
happens.
It's
It's
true.
happening.
It's true. They're just hiding. Talk to me, please.
Oh, See, that's the other thing I was going to say. Feel free to just burst into spontaneous impressions
yes.
Yeah,
as
we
we
love
go
it.
through these movies. I'm all for it. Go for it. We won't put you on the spot. Maddie, you're the guest.
Yes.
So the reign is yours. You can do whatever you want.
Wonderful.
But here's another thing I think that is really interesting about Toy Story for me, and I think you'll agree with. I mean, Disney films are fantastic, obviously, and I love them. That's a whole separate subject. A lot of these Pixar films, and it started with Toy Story, they have a real kind of emotional heft and heart to them as well.
Yeah.
That I think really connected to kids and adults alike.
Yeah.
And I think that's really also what really sets them apart. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing with Pixar movies is they're not the standard formula.
Right.
They don't have the standard formula of girl likes guy, guy likes girl. They can't be together because blah. It's
true.
like they really tap into actual storytelling, actual characters, actual character development, starting with a character in one place and having them change to another place by the end of the movie.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
true.
what makes a good story. And then having, of course, beautiful Pixar animation and wonderful storytelling and being able to really collaborate. With their last couple of movies, like their sequels, I feel like they've kind of lost that a bit. Like with Monsters University or Finding Dory, it wasn't the same heart. It
Right.
felt like they were just like, oh, let's make a sequel to this. That's why I'm really scared for Incredibles.
Toy Story 4. Oh,
No,
Incredibles 2.
I have been wanting an Incredibles 2 since the
I
first
love
one
it.
came out. It's my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
So I want it. I want it so badly, but at the same time, I'm really scared. But it's like, because Brad Bird's coming back. Brad Bird is coming back to tell the story because he actually has a story to tell. But I want it to be good and I want it to be right. And I want it, but I don't want it to be bad.
Let's cross our
I'm
fingers.
just like, oh, please, 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 please.
Okay, great. All right, so Toy Story, I mean, we all agree. I mean, that's the one that kind of started it all.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's your turn. You tell me a Pixar movie and let's talk about it.
Oh, well, I mean, there's more. There's actually something I've been really interested in talking about, which is actually the Pixar Theory. I
What's
don't know
that?
if you know about
No,
this.
tell me.
But the Pixar Theory is a theory that states that all Pixar movies take place in the same universe.
Really?
It's all
I've
on
heard
one
this actually.
timeline,
Really?
starting with The Good Dinosaur and going all the way up to Monsters, Inc., which is apparently the theory is that Monsters, Inc. is way far in the future. And the doors that they go through in Monsters, Inc. aren't doors to other universes. They're doors to other times. They're going back in time to when humans were alive.
Oh, wow.
It's a big, complicated,
Wow.
amazing theory that I'm just like, ooh, that's really fun. And with Coco just coming out, it's just like, ooh, where does this fit into the Pixar theory? When on the timeline does this fit?
You saw Coco, right?
I did.
Okay, so Coco's just been released. So I actually,
Tell us about it.
usually I do like a little review on brand new movies. I haven't seen it yet. Tell us
It's so
about
good.
Coco.
It is so good. It's one of those movies where you just fall into it.
Right.
Like I was in a movie theater and I was in a horrible seat in the movie theater. I mean, just head in a really weird position, looking up the entire time, and I forgot that I was in that weird position. I just completely and utterly fell into this movie and was just like swept away by the gorgeousness of it and the story of it.
It's about the Day of the Dead.
Yeah, Dia de los
the
Muertos.
Spanish culture.
Yeah, and I thought that was so cool because I've always kind of liked that culture and kind of thought it was very interesting about remembering your past and remembering your family and where they have come from and what they had to do to get where you are now.
Right.
Which is a really good thing that I really like right now because I feel like a lot of people are forgetting what it took to get where we are now.
Right.
And so it's like, yes, look back and see how hard it was to make your life this comfortable and why you want to change that and why you want to still strike out on your own path, but still respect where you have come from. And of course, family, which is a big theme in Pixar movies, is family and being strong with family, but also then character development and really good storytelling.
Yeah, and
I
it's
love
apparently
it.
quite emotional, Coco,
It really
right?
is. I mean, it's Pixar. It's going to make you cry.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, look, I'll go through them and we'll just kind of talk about them here. I had some notes on the different ones I went through. Okay, I had Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie to pieces.
I do love it.
I saw it again last week. It's Mike and Scully, John
Sully.
Goodman.
Sully.
And Sully, sorry. Yeah. I'm thinking
not
of
the
X-Files. Yeah. Yeah, so John Goodman, Billy Crystal,
Yeah.
and then Steve Buscemi is Randall.
Yeah.
You know, I love that movie so much.
You want to know something interesting?
Tell me.
Mike Wazowski, who does Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal,
Billy
yeah.
Crystal was originally offered the role of Buzz Lightyear, and he turned it down.
Is that right?
wow.
Yeah, and he says it was the biggest career mistake he'd ever made. So when they offered him the part of Mike
like, "I'm
Wazowski, he was
taking
like,
it."
"Give me, I take that role," and he just took it.
That's awesome
Yeah,
because he's amazing.
yeah, because he's wonderful as Mike. But it's hard for me to now imagine Billy Crystal as Buzz Lightyear. It's just
Yeah,
like, what?
true.
That just wouldn't work.
No.
Do you do any of the impressions from Monsters, Inc.?
No, I haven't actually done an impression.
You don't do that one?
I haven't
That's the first one I
yet.
chose.
I mean, I haven't done that yet. I mean, I haven't actually gotten. I think I've gotten one request for it.
All right, we'll put
But
in
now-
3.
Yeah,
we would love that.
absolutely. I would love to do that. I'm going through the whole the Christmas season right now and the Halloween season and doing all that stuff, and then heading into the New Year. It's like, ooh, fun new videos to try. What should I do? So if I could do Pixar, just a bunch of Pixar movies, I would be so down for that. Cool.
That's great. So
Yeah.
you're a fan of Monsters, Inc., the
Yeah,
first one you
yeah.
are? And so you said Monsters University you weren't so much
It
a
was
fan of.
okay.
What was your take on it?
It was fine. It didn't really do anything with the characters that I particularly
Right.
liked, and at the
That's
same
true.
time, it kind of introduced plot holes that I
Right.
was not happy with because there's a line that Sully says, or Mike says, "You've always been jealous of me ever since kindergarten," and then it shows them meeting for the first time in college.
in college, yeah.
It's like, wait, no, but no.
Yeah, so someone just ignored that.
Oh, no.
They won't notice.
I didn't
Yes, they
spot
will.
that. That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So I thought it was fine, but it wasn't my favorite.
I mean, I guess I loved the characters so
Yeah.
much
Yes,
that I
that's
still
why I
found
did
it
like it.
enjoyable. But no, I agree with you. It didn't bring something brand new to it.
No,
Yeah.
it did not.
It was okay because we watched both of them again over Thanksgiving.
Yeah. No, the question is, which order did you watch them in? The first one and the second one? Or
We
did you
watched
watch the-
Monsters University and then Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Yeah, we did it that way. And actually, I remembered that plot hole.
Yeah.
I spotted it when we
Yeah.
watched it. But I agree. And then well, since we were talking about Toy Story, I mean, they did Toy Story 2, they did
Yeah.
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3 made me cry.
Well,
That's
see,
one.
here's what's weird.
Every time.
Toy Story 2, which actually was very popular, I don't remember so much. Toy Story 3, which was a huge hit, it won the Oscar again
Yeah.
for animated feature. I think Toy Story 3 is almost a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the scary bear?
Lotso.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Lotso?
Yeah, Lotso
Yeah.
Bear.
I love that
and
movie.
that
It's so
ending
good.
that is like almost terrifying, where they
know.
all link hands and they think
Yeah.
they're about to be incinerated.
I know. I was just like,
Spoilers. They
Really?
don't. They're fine.
Oh my gosh. I was sitting in the theater next to my brother who also grew up watching that. So it's really funny because when I was sitting there watching it for the first time, I was like, are they really gonna end this with everybody? They're not gonna.
No.
Yeah, the
But
first time
there was definitely a moment
you
where I was
really
like,
aren't sure.
Is Pixar gonna go that way? Are they gonna do that? They might go that way. And it's really funny because a lot of people are like, that's when they start crying. It's like, that's not when I cry.
Right.
I cry when Andy plays with them for the last time.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
too.
Just me and my brother sitting in the theater just going,
Yeah, he's a teenage boy now going to college,
Yeah,
and he
because-
passes them on to the
yeah,
girl.
because I mean, my brother was the same age as Andy all the time. So the first time we watched that, my brother was the exact same age as Andy, and it was just like, man.
And Andy's the main kid throughout all the Toy Story films.
and
Yeah.
it's just oh
That's
gosh.
when I cried too.
I know, it's just every time I watch that movie, that's why I don't watch it that often, because I'm just like, this is gonna make me cry every time. I'm gonna.
Oh, I
get to
cry
this
in
point.
all of them, and it doesn't matter.
Well, the characters, especially it's funny because Toy Story 3 is the one that's the most memorable to me.
Yeah.
The first one still will always
Yeah.
hold a dear place in my heart. I enjoyed the second one because I bought them all for my wife on Blu-ray, and
Yeah.
we watched them all again. But the third one just has so many characters. I mean, Mr. Potato Head,
Yeah.
when he turns into the tortilla.
Yeah.
And
With
then,
the
oh,
zucchini.
Michael Keaton as Ken.
Oh
You know,
yes,
Ken and
the
Barbie.
Ken doll.
Ken and Barbie. Oh
so
my gosh,
good.
so funny.
That's
The thing that
fantastic.
was really funny for me was the fact that in every single Toy Story they have a version of Buzz not realizing that he's a toy.
That's
In
right.
every single one. There's a version
yeah.
of Buzz that is just like, I am a real space ranger.
And then it's Spanish in the third one. Wasn't
right.
that,
Oh,
wasn't
that
that
was so
Antonio
good.
Banderas, I think?
think so.
Was that?
Who
Oh, I
voiced
didn't
him.
know.
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny because I'm like, okay, now there are going to be kids that know just these phrases in Spanish. Like, I now know the cowboy in Spanish. El vaquero. It's like, I now know that because that's what I've
fantastic.
seen.
All right, and Toy Story impressions. Who do you do?
Again, I haven't.
putting
done
her on the
that.
spot.
Like, it's definitely something in the new year where it's like I want to do this in the new year.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah,
do that.
Monsters Inc., Toy Story.
Yeah,
Well, don't
Coco.
worry. I mean,
Coco is definitely one
yeah.
that I've gotten a lot of requests for, but that one I really need on DVD because I need to be able to sit and watch
Right.
it and hear the voices a whole bunch.
well, your show's just going to keep growing.
Absolutely.
So this is just more ammunition for you to use for
course.
future episodes for your show. So it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay, good. Let's see which other ones I have here. Okay, Wally. Wally.
Wally.
Was that Eve?
No, that was
Oh, Wally.
Yeah. Eve.
Amazing.
So, I mean, that's probably my second favorite one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Monsters Inc. is my favorite one. What's your favorite Pixar movie?
The
Incredibles.
Incredibles.
Which is probably my third.
Followed up very closely by Finding Nemo. And then Toy Story.
Yeah,
She's
see,
of
you
my
guys are going to
heart.
gang up on me on that.
He's not a big fan.
I don't dislike it, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let's park it right now.
Finding Nemo.
All right. I mean, Wally, I mean, again, I mean, that film, isn't it silent for like the first
Yeah,
20 minutes?
The first half is all show, no tell. It's just brilliant storytelling.
And it makes a cockroach adorable.
It does. It really does. And it makes you fall in love with with a PC computer and a Mac.
Yeah, I mean, Eve and Wally, it's so beautiful. How do you think, what's your take on the second half of that film?
I think it's very fun. I mean, because I really like how we get this. So the first time we see the humans, it's really jarring.
It's kind of scary.
It is.
That they're all kind of obese and,
Yeah.
you know, they're basically being controlled by robots and
It is.
machines
I mean,
and they're too
it's-
lazy to do anything.
It's a very clear thing from where the future will go,
like
which
a
is
scary
why
reality.
I really like at the end how they're like, okay, we're getting back on our feet
Right.
now and we're gonna plant a tree and we're gonna figure out how to make this work again because we haven't been for so long. And that part I really like.
Yeah, I mean, again, these Pixar films, they have themes that are really intense because
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
Earth is like a dumping ground, right?
Yeah.
And Wally is a robot that just like compresses all the dirt.
But still sees the wonder in it.
That's right, he does. 'Cause he
Still
watches
absolutely-
Hello Dolly.
Hello
The-
Dolly
the
and
video
collects
on
little
repeat.
knickknacks. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and so then the population of Earth are basically in a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Wally basically brings them back to Earth. That's a beautiful film.
It really
It's
is.
such a gorgeous film.
Soundtrack.
Oh, I
my
love it so much.
gosh.
And you're right. I mean, it makes you care about and get emotionally invested in a machine.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
That has maybe 2 or 3 lines that you can actually understand. Everything else is body language, and
Yeah.
you just love him.
Yeah.
And that's one of that I've definitely considered doing a live action for. Like,
Please do.
like my live action Finding Nemo and my live action Madagascar is like, how would I best do this? How could I do this? What scenes would I do? I've definitely thought about that.
You're so creative.
Oh, thanks.
Again, you've seen the videos she's done, right, Yanni? Like with your sets and costuming and like the backdrop, like the penguins one was like, oh, that's you built all that yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Listeners, obviously this is an audio podcast, but you got to go to YouTube, check out her videos and shows, and you'll see she does impressions, she does the sets, she does the costumes, everything. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think the most expensive part normally is the wigs.
Oh,
Getting
right.
all the different wigs.
How many do you have?
Over 50, maybe 70 now or something like that.
Wow.
I have
What's your closet look like, Maddie?
Well, bunch of clothes, 2 top shelves full of wigs, and then I have a giant bin that's full of wigs.
Wow.
I have a lot of wigs, and I want more.
Because you're huge. Oh, that's right. I was going to mention this. You're huge on cosplay too.
Yeah, I'm really big into cosplay.
You go to all the conventions and stuff.
I love doing that. And what's really fun is about my videos is I never intended for my impressions to also be in cosplay at the same time, but it was just always like, oh, I'll wear this shirt that is kind of like in the theme of that, or I have this Gravity Falls t-shirt that I'm going to wear with that. And it was like, oh, I also have this wig that kind of goes with it. Oh, maybe I could do my hair and makeup like that too. Oh, now I'm an actual full-blown character from this. I'm cosplaying in every video now.
That's fantastic. What was your favorite like cosplay uniform outfit you did?
From every video or from my own impression?
Just
video?
anything off the top of your head. Like what's one you loved personally?
Personally, I loved Dory. That one was
You did
fun.
that as a costume?
Yeah, like I've actually gone to cons as Dory.
That's awesome.
Like that one's really fun. That one I really like doing. I also just did Jack Skellington, which is really fun because I put on this long white wig, and for some reason I look really good in white. It's really weird. I think it's because I'm so pale.
Everyone's got their color.
It's true. So that one's really fun. But I also, I just really like Dory.
Awesome.
Dory's just fun. Dory's
All
just
right,
fun
well,
to play.
you know what? I'll let you guys gang up on me. We'll talk about Finding Nemo and we'll talk about Finding Dory. First of all, I want a disclaimer because there's an opinion that I don't like Finding Nemo. I've never said, hold on.
Said it.
I've never said I don't like it. Here's what I said. Finding Nemo is like considered one of the most popular and beloved Pixar films of all time. Mm-hmm. I never got that appeal. When I watched it, I thought it was cute. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it a few times since, and Dory, Ellen DeGeneres' character, definitely, rubbed off on me more.
Yeah.
She's adorable. But I've never been someone who loves the film. It is cute.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I went and saw Finding Dory with you.
Yeah, we saw it in the theater.
I enjoyed Finding Dory more, maybe because it was in the time, in the moment, and I kind of had gotten more familiar with the characters. I kind of enjoyed it, and I've seen it a few times. So it's a very cute film. I guess it just didn't touch me like some of the other ones. So don't beat me up, ladies. But
I won't beat you up.
I know it's
only
very
verbally.
popular.
No, I think for Finding Nemo, I saw it when I was a kid.
Right.
And then it was my mom's favorite movie. So I actually went out. It was one of the first gifts I ever bought
That's
for
probably
her.
what it was, by the way.
Finding Nemo on DVD, and I got it for her. It was one of the first DVDs we ever owned, so I watched it a whole bunch. And I just fell in love with this character. And then when I did the research really for my live action Finding Nemo, it was like I really got into the characters. And the amazing character study of Marlin is just so much fun because the arc that he goes through.
That's Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
He plays it.
Yeah, and him just going through this journey of just self-discovery, and then learning to let go and grow as a character, and being a parent. And I found it just so fascinating that in the movie they had to give both Nemo and Marlin surrogate parents and child because it was supposed to be this father and son growing story, but they were separated.
Right.
So Marlin had to have the surrogate child of Dory, and Nemo had the surrogate father of Gil. So they still had that story arc.
Gil was the
one in the fish tank, the black and white.
Oh,
one.
right. Yeah.
So it was a great thing, and then I fell in love with Dory. I mean, from whenever we would watch the movie, we always started with, here's Dory. Let's start with Dory. Just start with Dory, seeing where she came in, and just watch it from there. And she's just, she's so much fun. She's so wonderful and free-spirited and just lighthearted and happy and just... there's a scene that I did that I just love in the live action.
Do you want to do it?
I'm not sure if I can do it off the top of
You're
my
not on
head.
the spot. Don't worry. But
It's the scene
I mean,
where-
you know the Dory.
Yeah,
you do the Dory
I
one.
do the Dory one, but when she's begging Marlon not to leave her because she doesn't want to forget again.
Right.
It's
That's
just
right.
heart-wrenching. And I love that scene because I could dig my teeth into it as an actor and really go into her head at that moment and what she was thinking and what she was feeling and what all was happening with her. And it was just so much fun to do that, to just get into that. Okay, I'm going to do it. It just
Yeah, go for it.
because when I look at you, I'm home. Please, I don't want to forget again. And just, I don't.
She got so
I
emotional.
did.
I actually just teared up.
Oh my
God.
You did that really well.
Thank you.
And you were really in the moment.
Yeah,
Totally.
You said something, Madison, earlier that I think actually really makes a point, and we've talked about this quite a bit before. You saw Finding Nemo when you were a child.
Yes.
We've talked about this a lot on the podcast. When you watch a movie at a specific age and it kind of strikes a chord.
Yes.
So I saw that film when I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
So I actually think that's all it is, because I find it cute. But I imagine how I would respond to that film if I was younger.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
probably touch me a lot more, especially because of the story, because it's the kid that
Yeah.
basically gets lost from his father. And, you know, I think that's a really kind of important point.
Well, it's interesting. I'm just thinking about this right now. I've never thought about this before, but when I saw it the first time, I saw it with my aunt, because at the time I was staying with my brother at my aunt's house, and we weren't with our parents at the moment because we were like vacationing with my aunt. So at the time, I wasn't with my parents.
Right.
I wasn't with my mom. So
Yeah,
I was.
see?
So it's really interesting to now think about that. And be
Probably
like,
really missed your family,
I
your
really
parents.
did.
Similar to
Yeah,
me too. I was
yeah.
away from my family.
Yeah.
But also, it touches to me upon I love the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And
yes.
it gives
So
you
do
that-
I, by the way.
It
My
gives you
biggest
that
regret is that I can't breathe underwater. So yes.
right, and
grow gills.
I love the ocean. I love everything under the water. And to
Yeah.
me, Finding Nemo and Finding Dory create this wonderful world of creatures and spirits under the water. And
Yeah.
it touches to me upon that Little Mermaid kind of
Yes.
wave, and that's why I love it so much.
Absolutely.
I mean, Finding Nemo is lovely, and what's funny is the more I think about it now, I mean, the sharks and the cool
Yeah.
surfer groovy turtles,
Yeah.
and I actually
Fish are
remember.
friends, not food.
I remember a lot more about it now when I think about it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Finding Dory.
I love that too.
Well, because again, it's Ellen DeGeneres front and center as
Right.
Dory, who, I mean, that character is so immortalized and beloved.
Yeah.
And I love how they segue the ending of Finding Nemo, where they're all like in the bag in the water. And then in Finding Dory, aren't they still like, what now? They're still there floating in the ocean. Isn't that what happens?
Pissed me off more than anything else in that
That's
movie.
so
I was
hilarious.
so upset by that because I was like,
Yeah.
I've waited 13 years to find out what happened to those fish, and they
they're
are
still
still
there.
in the bags.
The other
I
thing.
was so upset. Oh my god!
I love the seals.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was going to say. I think the sea lions.
Off.
And then
So
there's that
funny.
after credit sequence where he like pops up behind them. He's like,
So
this is an
funny.
audio podcast, so they can't see us. But yeah, I love that. So, I mean, the more I think about it, I get kind of giddy. So I guess they are pretty great movies. So yeah, that's Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. They're classics, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your favorite one, The Incredibles. I mean, just so you know, I love The Incredibles too.
Yes.
I absolutely do. I think, have you seen The Incredibles,
You were
Jenny?
supposed to rectify that.
You haven't seen it?
No.
All right, get out.
I know.
No,
No,
don't
I was
get
almost not going to come on the podcast. I'm like, I haven't seen The Incredibles.
Okay, so it's Mr. Incredible, Craig T. Nelson,
Yeah.
Holly Hunter as Elastigirl,
Yeah.
Jason Lee as Sinestra.
Syndrome.
Who
Yeah.
I thought was such a good villain.
And Brad Bird as Edna Mode.
Yeah, and he directed
He's
it, right?
the director.
Here's what I always remember, and don't worry, I'm going to let you talk about it. I won't steal your thunder because it's your favorite one. But what I found incredible about The Incredibles, no pun intended, it's an amazing action movie. Even as an animated film, it's there are action sequences that are like so thrilling. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, tell us about your love, Madison, because I love your energy.
Now, this was the very first DVD my family ever owned.
The Incredibles?
The Incredibles.
Wow.
So we watched, second DVD we ever owned.
What was the first?
The first one was Pirates of the Caribbean. It was a gift
Oh,
from a
okay.
friend. This was the first one we ever bought.
Okay.
So we got this, and me and my brother watched it kind of sort of on repeat. And then when we got tired of that, we put on the Spanish version and the French
my
version.
Are you serious?
And we watched it in multiple different languages, and we can now quote it in multiple different languages.
Can
my
you quote
gosh.
some in another language?
Milan, Milan.
What's that?
That's Edna mode when
Edna Mode.
Yeah.
She's the costume lady.
she's the costume
Oh.
lady, and there's the point when Bob is like, "Weren't you just on the news? Some show on Prague?"
Milan, darling, Milan.
It's amazing.
Yes. And it's just like that. The number of times we watch that is just, it made such it's like my spine practically.
Right.
It's a part of who I am. I love that movie. It is so, I can't believe you haven't watched it.
I
I'm
know.
sorry. Oh my
It's
God.
not
and
okay.
Samuel L. Jackson, he's Frozone?
Yeah, he's Frozone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you do his voice?
Honey, where's my super suit? I said, where is my super suit? I put it away. Where? Why do you need to know? I need it. Don't think about running off and doing no daring do. We've been planning this dinner for 2 months. The public is in danger. My evening's in danger. You tell me where my suit is, woman. We are talking about the greater good. Greater good. I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get.
No, I'm just going to let her keep going.
Yeah,
I
I
can
know.
quote the entire. I can quote all of Jack Attack. Like right now, I could.
Of what?
Jack. There's the short of Jack Attack. What happens to Kari, the babysitter, while they're off on the mission with the baby Jack?
I don't know what that is.
You've never seen Jack Attack?
No.
It's a feature on the DVD. They came out with a short. Like there's 2 shorts for The Incredibles. The Bounding, which is
Oh, it's one of those short films
Yeah.
that came with The Incredibles.
Yeah, and this is
never saw it.
this is what happened with Kari and Jack while the rest of the family was off on their mission.
Oh, wow.
And so this is like how he got his powers, right? And I can quote that entire short.
How long is it?
About 5 minutes.
Okay. Maybe for another time. but
that's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
what's even more impressive is, I mean, that was just her audio, but you
Yeah.
do that with the set, with the costume and everything. So
Well,
it's really
that's
fun.
how my live action started, because I was just like, I was doing the impressions, and then I was like, I kind of want to just do the impressions of Jack Attack because I can do it. And then I was like, oh, I'll just do it in front of my mic like usual. Oh, maybe I'll put on a costume that kind of looks like Kari. Oh, maybe I'll, shoot in.
So it
some
kinda
of the-
grew from there.
It grew, and it became my first live action, and it took off. It just took off, and I was like not ready for that.
That's fantastic, though.
Thank you.
That's what you want.
It was what I want. I didn't think it was going to happen with that one because I would have done it way better. I would have done it so much better if I'd known what was going to happen with it. But because of that, I was like, oh, okay, people really like this formula. Let's try it again with, Finding Nemo. Let's see what happens with that. So that was the first thing. And then, of course, I did my live action Edna Mode, where I recreated every single one of Edna's scenes.
It's fantastic.
It's just
Well, the best
greatest
part as
character
well,
ever.
though, Maddie, is you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
So you get to just keep creating on something you love as
Yeah.
well. Can you do more of Edna? I like that.
What do you want to know, darling?
What does she say? I just remember as the costume lady.
Okay, let's see.
Supermodels. There's nothing super about them. They're just skinny little stick figures with poofy lips who think only about themselves. Yeah, I used to design for gods.
Amazing.
That was good.
And I haven't seen it. It's amazing
Oh
anyway.
my God. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll do a movie night. You have to watch
Oh
The
my gosh,
Incredibles.
I have to.
You
So
have to.
you're nervous about The Incredibles too?
I am, because I want it to be good, but like I said, I don't think Finding Dory was a good sequel for Finding Nemo, and I'm scared that Incredibles 2 won't be a good sequel for The Incredibles, because Incredibles is so near and dear to my
But it
heart.
is Brad Bird.
It is Brad Bird.
So fingers crossed.
So fingers crossed, and I love Brad Bird. I love The Incredibles. I love Tomorrowland. He makes some of my favorite movies, so it's like he could make this good. I hope people just let him make his movie and don't try and futz with it too much.
All right, well, let's hold our breath till
hope.
next year and let's
Really,
see.
I am. I'm not. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, next Pixar film. This film I find so touching. I absolutely love it. Up.
Yes.
Do you love Up?
I do love Up.
Have you seen Up,
Yes,
Miss
I
Money
have
Annie?
seen Up several times.
Okay, here's what's interesting
I
about
cry
Up.
like such a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love Up. It's a bit of a disjointed film.
It is.
Because
Yeah.
the first half and second half are quite different. I still thoroughly love it.
Yeah.
But the second half is kind of this like zany,
yeah.
lumpy adventure.
And then, of
with,
course, you got the first 10 minutes, which make you sob like a baby.
I was going to say, I mean,
just
it has
bawl
probably
my
one
eyes
of the
out.
best opening sequences with no spoken words
Yeah.
of all time.
And I've actually seen some things that are like literally try and recreate it shot
Right.
for shot just to pull out your heartstrings. I'm like, don't do that.
No.
Don't do
It's
that.
so emotionally gut-wrenching and it's an animated feature.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so well done.
They do such a good job of show don't tell.
Yeah.
They really do. They give this entire story without
Right.
having to say. And now they lived many years, and then she did love. It was like, here, we'll show you their entire life.
Yeah,
Gut-wrenching.
it was tragic. It was
really
beautiful.
was.
And that's literally, like the first 10 minutes.
That's the
That just
first-
sets up the film.
Yeah. That's just to set up what Carl's about to do.
Right, and then he
And
goes
who
off
he
and...
is and why
yeah.
he is the way he is. And
Now, there's a really dark theory about Up.
Okay, say.
That it all is happening inside Carl's head.
Oh, it's like
Oh,
he's...
God.
Like
I hate that.
Like basically that he dies.
Like he's delirious, he's gone insane?
Like basically the day that they were gonna pick him up.
Ellie is his wife's name? Was it
Yeah,
Ellie?
that's Ellie. But the day that the people were going to pick him up to take him to the old folks' home, he basically passed away in his sleep. And this is just all happening.
Oh, God, I hope not.
That's
I know.
right, he was about to go
Terrible.
to an old
horrible
folks'
It's
home.
a horrible theory. And I'm like, oh,
I hate
God.
that.
Imagine if that was the end, him waking up in the old person's
I
home.
know.
I would be like, yeah, this is the most evil movie ever made.
Right?
Yeah, this is
I know.
horrible.
I'm like, it's very interesting because so many Pixar theories have extremely dark undertones.
They really do.
It's like, how
true.
did you get so dark from such a happy movie? What are
Well,
you
because
doing?
they really they're for adults and children,
Yeah.
and everyone kind of loves them for that reason because
Yeah.
they speak to all ages. I think that's really what also makes them work and makes the Pixar films so successful.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love Up, and again, I've seen that film maybe 7 or 8 times. The first half I find beautiful. Ed Asner voices Carl,
Yeah.
does a great job. I don't know, what's the kid's name? The adorable little Boy
Russell?
Scout? Russell,
Yeah.
yeah, and the dog.
Hi there. My name is Doug. I have just met you and I love you. Will you be my squirrel?
That's right.
I have just met you and I love you.
And then isn't there and then there's all these evil dogs and doesn't he have a really squeaky voice? Can you do that one?
Yeah.
We must find Carl. Where's the bird? We will take him to our master.
Amazing.
Anyway, okay, so Up is fantastic. It's a beautiful
Definitely
Pixar movie. Okay, good. The next one is probably my wife, Danny, who's our producer. This is her favorite Pixar movie, which is Ratatouille.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like that movie at all. She has completely won me over on it because I've watched it 5 times.
Right.
I actually find it really charming now.
It's adorable.
It's about this rat who becomes a chef. It's Patton Oswalt voices him. What I remember about that film for me that really touched me on Ratatouille was Peter O'Toole, who plays the food critic.
Yeah.
And then he tastes that ratatouille at the
I
end.
was just about to say.
And then he has that flashback of a child of his mother making ratatouille for him, and he just lights up and he's so grumpy until that point.
Yeah.
I thought that moment was beautiful. It almost
Absolutely.
rivals that opening to Up.
Absolutely, because I was just thinking, when you brought that up, I was just thinking about that because that's a lot of what Pixar does for me is I think about that and I'm like, back to that happy
memories.
childhood.
Just tugging at the heartstrings.
I've had those moments where it's I smell something and I'm like, I'm 4 again. This just took me right back to that happy memory that I can't quite remember, but it reminds me of a good time. I like this smell.
Yeah, and it makes you love a rat.
It really
Exactly.
does.
It makes rats adorable.
Well, that's what Pixar does best. They make you fall in love with inanimate objects and weird animals.
Yeah,
And
they
it's
really
in
do.
Paris, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
France.
Yeah, it gives
Yeah.
I remember being very fascinated with the way they did all the French things and the
Yeah.
little quirks of the French people. It was really good.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah,
fun.
so it's funny. That's a film that really grew on me because I remember I saw it when it came out, didn't care for it. Danny absolutely loves it. So the more times I've seen it, it's really grown on me, and I actually really enjoy it now.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, good. You mentioned this one earlier. I was frustrated that this film didn't do well. The Good Dinosaur. I loved The Good Dinosaur. It's okay if you didn't.
I
Did
thought
you?
it was okay.
Okay, well, most people thought it was okay, unfortunately.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of ranked as one of the lowest,
Yeah.
popular and grossing Good Dinosaur. I don't know. Something about it spoke to me. Number one, the trailer was beautiful.
Yes.
And I remember I watched that trailer over and over again and I was like, wow, this looks phenomenal. And I saw that in the theater and cried a few times.
Yeah.
It was visually
I
stunning.
loved it. I
It
thought
really
it was
was.
visually beautiful, and the story was gorgeous. This young boy, a human boy, and then the little young dinosaur, and going off on an adventure together.
Yeah.
What was it that maybe didn't register for you?
What it actually is, it's a boy and his dog story. That's really what it is.
Essentially.
Well, I have several problems with it, but like the animation of the backgrounds was so high quality and real looking, and then the characters look so cartoony.
Which is what a lot of people complained
yeah,
about.
it
That's
was like
interesting.
I didn't particularly like the main character. Like
The dinosaur.
Yeah, Oswald or something like that.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah, and it was like he was a little too shy and didn't really progress enough into being courageous that I didn't connect with him. And then the spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it, the death of his dad, all it was for me when I saw that was like, oh, they're
Lion King.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was just
Everyone, you're basically
Yeah.
saying what most of the critics
yeah, it
said
was just
as
like
well.
they're trying to just make another Mufasa moment to traumatize a younger generation.
Which
now.
is true. I
thought
guess
of
you're
Land
right.
Before Time as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Land
Yeah.
Before Time,
Yeah.
the mom dying,
Yeah.
same kind of thing.
I guess somehow I was stubborn, and I just decided to see past that and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, you're right about those points.
Totally.
It was a bit odd how lifelike and aesthetically gorgeous all the background was.
Yeah.
But the dinosaurs were almost like childlike.
Yeah,
That's very
there were
true.
definitely some good things. I mean, I like the fact that they had T-Rexes in there that
Right.
weren't the villains.
Yeah,
that was really
cool.
that was a nice switch up.
Yeah, they were
Normally
cool.
The T-Rexes are like we're the big bad T-Rex, and it was like no, we're like the cool Rangers.
They were like, yeah, cowboy ranchmen.
We're cowboy dinosaurs.
That was
sure.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
And then and I really liked the was it the Velociraptors? I think it was the Raptors.
The flying thingies,
Yeah, the
pterodactyls.
raptors. And no, not the actual raptors, because it was recently discovered that raptors did actually have feathers.
Oh, right.
So I like the fact that they did actually have that in there, that the raptors had feathers. So I thought was like that was cool. That was a nice way to kind of integrate this new knowledge, because you see in Jurassic Park how the dinosaurs never have feathers unless
That's her favorite movie,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Yanni
so-
loves it.
yeah.
Well, I love Good Dinosaur. Again, unfortunately, it didn't do that well, but and also I've only seen it twice. I probably need to watch it a few
Yeah,
more
I
times.
think I
Maybe
only
it
saw it
won't.
once.
Yeah, maybe it won't stand the test of time. But
I did
I had
love
to mention it.
love it the first time and liked it the second time. It definitely didn't wow me out of the theater
Yeah.
the way it.
Well, the more I think about
Yeah.
this now, this happens with a lot of Pixar movies, especially. Disney, not so much. Usually when I see a Disney movie, most of the time I'll just fall
yeah.
in love with it. Pixar movies, it takes several times for me to see them. The next one, actually, that I'm going to talk about is a perfect example of that, which is Inside Out. Because Inside Out came out to absolute critical acclaim. It was a huge hit.
Yeah.
And I remember Danny and I watched it, and we were like, we didn't really like it.
Yeah.
We've seen it 2 or 3 times now, and we love it now. It's really bizarre. Do you like Inside Out?
Well, the first time I watched it, I liked it, but the more I thought about it, I started going, wait, there's something not right here.
Well, that film's pretty twisted, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where it's like, okay, here are the emotions, here's what the emotions are making her do, but there's a point where I was like, okay, but where's Riley? Where is she?
That's the girl's name,
Yeah,
right?
the main girl, where everything is happening inside her head. It's like, where is the actual person? Because you're not just your emotions. You're not just the
Right.
chemicals
You're
in
much
your brain.
more than that, of course.
So I didn't like how they showed that it was just like, hey, this is just your emotions,
Right.
and they're just little
Yeah.
people inside your head making you do crazy stuff.
It didn't resonate with me at all.
Yeah, the more I thought
didn't
about
like
it, the more I was just like, wait. I mean, that was a fun concept at first, but the more I thought about it, I was just like, this isn't right.
Well, it's
isn't
true,
right.
because also I actually agree with you. I don't like that, fear sometimes has to take over.
Yeah.
And sadness has to take over. But you're right, if you can kind of get past that and look at it in a fun way, I did like the characters of, because obviously
Yeah.
the film is
Yeah.
about this girl and emotions that basically are like characters inside her head. And
Right.
it's happiness, sadness,
Yeah.
joy, which is Amy Poehler.
Amy
and
Poehler.
sadness, which is Phyllis, the girl from The Office.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Oh, well, you do the voices.
Yeah. We're gonna get lost in here. Be positive. Okay. I'm positive we'll get lost in here.
That's pretty good.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Yeah, see, you did a video on
I did
impressions
impressions
on
for
Inside
that.
Out. Yeah.
And that was kind of when I started watching it again, going, Wait, there's
Do I love this?
There's something not right here.
Yeah.
There's something. Where is Riley? This doesn't make sense.
I actually agree with you on that. It's a good point. And probably the first time I watched it, I thought about those factors, and that's why I couldn't enjoy it. Then I probably decided, well, you know what? I'm not going to get serious into it, and I'll just kind of enjoy the movie. Oh, I loved the character.
Bing Bong?
Bing Bong.
Yes.
Her imaginary friend or
Yes.
toy.
Yeah, that part I really love because
I love Bing Bong.
I've had imaginary friends.
Can you do Bing Bong?
Not that well, actually.
Oh,
I can't do it. I can't do a good Bing Bong.
Oh, no, so just so you know, so did I. I had imaginary friends. I
Yeah.
had, I had a huge imagination as a kid.
Absolutely.
Me too.
I still do.
You have to. That's the best way to be, I think.
Yeah, and it was like Bing Bong was a character that I loved because I could understand the kind of wackiness that he was made up of.
Yeah.
And
Right.
just like, it was like, when it was like spelling out danger, it was like, yes, that spells shortcut.
Okay, and then going back to the Toy Story movies, do you remember Toy Story 2?
Yes.
Because I don't know why I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one either.
The only thing I do remember, isn't that the one that introduces Jessie?
Yes.
Which is Joan Cusack?
Yeah.
I remember that, the cowboy girl. But what's Toy Story 2 about? Oh, and the aliens, the green aliens.
Well, they were in the first one.
Oh, they were?
They were in the first
What
one.
did they say?
The claw.
That was good.
It's really good.
Well,
What's the second one about?
Woody is kidnapped by Al, who apparently Woody is a rare collectible doll. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
Jessie
yeah.
and Bullseye and Stinky Pete were all the other toys from the TV show that
That's
Woody was a part
right.
of. So Woody is the
Because it
final
was
piece.
hugely popular, the second one too, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I skipped it. Like I've seen it
Yeah.
at least 2 or 3 times, but I remember the first and third one so well.
Yeah.
They're just part of me.
Again, I have that on VHS, and
Do
I
you
would
really?
watch that.
The second one?
Yeah, the second one. So,
Wow.
I
I
want to do a 1, 2, 3.
You should. Yeah.
I have them all on Blu-ray.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do a movie night. Okay, good. And then I've got to talk about these ones, and don't beat me up if you guys love them, which is Cars.
I knew you
Do
were
you
gonna
like
say that.
Cars?
I like the first one.
Me
I
too.
despise the second one.
Ditto.
I have yet to see the third one.
Ditto.
I can't stand these ones. I don't know why. I don't mind the ride at Disney World and
one's
Disneyland.
fun.
They're fun. I don't know why I don't enjoy them. I mean, I'm a dude. You'd think I'd
You don't
like
like
cars.
cars.
I mean,
not
it's
a car
Owen
guy.
Wilson is Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Paul Newman's in it. I mean,
Yeah.
the voice cast was fantastic.
First one's so cute.
They just didn't resonate to
I
me
really
at
like
all.
the first one because, again, the story arc of what the character was at the beginning and where he goes. And I love watching character arcs like that. Like, me and my brother used to dissect the character arc of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh,
Like,
right.
everything that
My
he
wife
would go
loves that
through.
movie.
And we would just dissect why he would go into these phases and at what stage did he become less evil and all that stuff. So I really like the story arc that Lightning does go through, and of these small towns.
Right.
Like this small town that is trying to just hang in there because
Yeah.
they are a small town, and I like that.
Me
I
too.
really like that small town feeling, and Lightning McQueen getting over himself a little bit
Right.
and being like, okay,
Yeah,
there's,
he's so
there's
arrogant
more
at
than
first.
just winning. There's also, friends and family and
Oh,
being
what's the
happy.
character? Larry, the cable guy?
Oh, yeah, Mater.
Mater?
Like Mater.
Oh, you
but
do
without
Mater?
the tuh.
I did like his character,
Yeah.
which apparently people can't stand now,
Well,
but kids
I liked
love it.
him. I liked him in the first one. In the second one, it was like
Yeah.
he's a side character, and when you try and put the side character in the spotlight, things don't go right.
Right, and then the second one, didn't they try and go into this whole
Yeah,
spy
they went
plot
into this
line?
like spy thing. First of all, I hate spy movies because I can never follow them.
Oh, I
I
love
always
them,
get so
but it
lost
didn't
as to
work
like,
for this.
why is this person needing that thing that does this thing that launches the missiles? I don't understand what's happening anymore. I'm so lost, and I got lost in Cars too, like that. It was like, why are they? What's what? And just Mater being the main character just does
Yeah,
not work
it was
Yeah.
because Mater's the comic relief. But the point about comic relief is it's supposed to be relief.
Right.
It's supposed to be serious and relief and
Not
serious
the main
and relief.
character.
So if you have that all throughout, it's just like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I probably need to go back and watch the first one again because a lot of people do like the first one. It
Yeah.
was very popular.
Yeah.
I definitely don't care for the second. I have no interest in the third.
I kind of want to see the third because people are like it goes back to what the first one was, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it got
okay.
reviews.
That's why I do still want to see that. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, but I want to see it.
Okay, good. And then we're almost done. See, they've only made like 18, 19 Pixar
know.
movies. So A Bug's Life. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember A Bug's
been
Life
able
at
to
all.
get
Came
through
out right after Toy Story. I think it was the second one
Oh,
that
wow.
it
No,
ever
no,
did.
you're right, because it came out the same time as Ants.
Yes.
Do you remember Ants?
DreamWorks
Yes.
did Ants
And
at the same
Woody
time.
Allen voices that movie, and it's Sylvester Stallone's in it, Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I
That's
like
the
that
film.
movie.
I do, and that's
They
the film
get
I
confused.
remembered.
They
I
get
didn't
really
remember A Bug's
confused.
Life.
Yeah.
What's it about? A Bug's Life?
A Bug's Life, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's about this little bug that doesn't fit in with the rest of the colony. He's like an inventor bug. And then there's these evil grasshoppers that are going to come and destroy the colony if there's not enough food for them. And so then Flit, the main character, inventor bug, tries and go finds warriors bugs to fight off the evil grasshoppers. But turns out he accidentally got circus bugs instead.
Oh my gosh. But you enjoyed it.
I do. I
So
do.
you do
really
recommend A
I
Bug's
do,
Life?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And there is actually one more that you forgot to mention.
Brave.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
was
left
gonna-
that for last, actually, because my wife loves Brave.
I adore Brave.
I've only seen it once.
If you could change your fate, would you?
Ooh, so what's the actress who plays her? Do you remember? She was in Boardwalk Empire. She is a Scottish actress.
Yes, she is.
I can't remember. It's
Merida.
Kelly MacDonald.
Yeah.
No, it's Kelly yeah,
Yeah.
but the actress is called Kelly MacDonald.
Yeah.
I thought that film was quite visually beautiful.
Yes.
And I love that
I
it had
the animation on their hair was amazing.
Right, and I love that there was a female heroine. I've only seen it once, so I do need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I think what bugged me was the whole like transformation of her mother into a bear. Isn't that what
I
happened?
loved
The
it.
thing I found most
I'm gonna let you
predictable
defend
about
Brave.
it. Oh, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be defending Brave. It was predictable for me.
Right.
I knew what was going to happen before it happened. I knew exactly what she was going to say to break the curse, and that's exactly what she said to break the curse.
Yeah.
I knew what was going to happen.
It did seem like one of the most childish Pixar
It did.
movies. Danny loves it though.
I mean, it's sweet. It's definitely it's a mother-daughter Pixar movie, which they don't actually have very many of.
Right.
So it was very sweet. It was just kind of predictable. For
Oh,
me.
and the music, I do
the
remember. The music was
great.
gorgeous.
The sets were amazing. The thing that I found best about it actually was the fact that after watching that, I wanted to see a crossover between that and How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh.
Me too. I totally did because
I
they
love
both have that
very-
Scottish
How to
thing.
Train Your Dragon.
Very
Yeah.
similar cultures, and it's
so
just
good.
like
So that's DreamWorks.
Yeah,
that's DreamWorks.
that's my
stuff.
one
But
of my
there was
favorites.
a thing that happened around that time, which it was so good. It was called the Big Four, or Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons, which
my
was
God.
the fan community wanted to see Tangled, How to Train Your Dragon, Rise of the Guardians, and Brave made into one movie.
Wow.
And they
my
like did
gosh.
these amazing edits and fan arts for it of like what like Jack Frost and Hiccup and Merida and Rapunzel like doing stuff because they were these four things, and then Frozen came along and kind of threw that out the window. But then it also introduced Jelsa, which is my diehard fan of Jack Frost and Elsa. Anyways, I'm going off on a rant, but yeah, that was one of the things that really happened there. Was it was like we want to see these two studios come together and make this fun thing, and that's never gonna happen.
I mean, this is totally disrelated anyway, but I mean, How to Train Your Dragon, I think I saw that like on DVD when it came out. I liked
love
it.
it. Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon 2, I went out and saw that in the theater. The theater was full of kids and their mothers, parents, and then me, a 37 or a 36-year-old boy child. And I was so transfixed by the second one. I absolutely loved
I
it.
went and saw the first one with my brother in IMAX 3D.
Oh, fun.
And those
Be so
flying
beautiful.
scenes.
They're
in
incredible.
IMAX
Yeah,
were
the aerial scenes are
breathtaking.
gorgeous.
I wish they had had more of those in
We're totally
in
off
the second
Pixar,
one.
but it's okay.
I mean, it just, oh God, just the flying scenes, I was like, I can feel the wind through my hair.
Yeah, they're
right
breathtaking.
now. It was just gorgeous.
And
Oh
those
my gosh.
characters as well were so real. What I loved it, and again, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you get invested because
Oh, yeah.
also it's actually
Character arcs.
there's real threat.
Yeah.
Because it's Hiccup and
Toothless?
Toothless.
Yeah.
He loses his leg
Yeah.
and then he loses his wing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
or
like
his tail fin.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
the second one, I mean, it's heartbreaking.
The thing I love best about the first one was that there's some character reactions that are just so true to what would happen. Like when Hiccup first releases Toothless, and then he screams in his face and flies off. Hiccup then gets up and then falls over. It's like, yes, that is what was happening.
Yeah,
And then
totally.
Stoic's the big thing of you're not my son anymore. You're not my son anymore. I don't have a son. And then there's that moment where he's outside the door and he's like, he's shook. He's really like taken aback by it, and then he has to keep moving forward. It's like those are some real moments. Those are some real like character people reacting to what just happened, which I really love. And
resignating to like real family problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really wish that they had a couple more of those in the second one. I like the second one, except for the main villain of the second one.
Oh, right.
Like the main villain of the second one was originally supposed to be Hiccup's mom.
Right.
It was supposed to be
I actually heard
Volca.
that. Yeah.
And I think that would have been better, because then they had to like quickly throw together this other villain that makes no sense. Like, why can he now control the dragons just by swinging a stick and yelling at them and putting his foot on their face? What? And so dragons attacked your family and you lost an arm. That's why you now use dragons to attack other families. What? I'm so confused by you. So it's actually a good movie if you just skip all the scenes with him in it.
Yeah.
And then the bits with Hiccup and his mom are great.
Right.
And I love those scenes.
Yeah.
I think they're wonderful, and I wish there was more of that in the movie and not so much Drago bloody fists.
All right, well, that was interesting. We went through all the Pixar movies and then How to
DreamWorks.
Train Your Dragon special mention, which
Yes.
it deserves. And actually, you're right. We could probably do like a whole episode on DreamWorks,
Yeah,
a whole
totally.
episode on Disney.
Yep.
I would love to have you back
I
for
would love
those.
to.
It'd be so much fun.
That'd be great.
Well, we went through all the Pixar movies, so Incredibles is your favorite
Yep,
one.
yep.
I'd say Monsters Inc. is my favorite one. And what about you, Miss Money Annie? You're on the spot. Choose one. Finding Nemo?
Well, you haven't seen The Incredibles, so you...
Toy Story.
Okay. good.
Yeah.
Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and then Brave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that's Pixar. So what I want you to do again is, let's plug the listeners as well, your show, things you've got coming up. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you, because your stuff is fantastic. Keep doing
So
it.
much fun.
Yeah, so you can find me at youtube.com/Madi2theMax. MADI, the number 2, the max. I make a new funny video every week. My main goal is to make you smile, and there's lots of Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks there. I think the next video I have coming out is going to be how the Grinch stole Christmas impressions, and I just came out with the Nightmare Before Christmas impressions. So
I saw that. It was great.
That was a lot of fun.
And we're all going to write in for Monsters, Inc.
Oh yeah, Monsters Inc.
I'm going to write them from
Toy
different
Story.
email addresses.
Yes. Monsters Inc., Toy Story. I know that I have like Brave is definitely on my list to do in the new year.
You do great, Brave.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I liked your
Yeah.
Scottish. It's actually pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so write in suggestions, and they might be made into my next video.
Well, look, you certainly make people smile, so you're definitely succeeding at
thank
that.
you.
We loved having you on. You're welcome on anytime,
Yay!
okay?
I'll be back.
All right, thanks so much. Good night, guys.
Night.
Good night.
Hello, and thank you for listening to another new episode of Tony the Movie Guy, the podcast. We really appreciate Madi2theMax coming on, and you can again find her at youtube.com/Madi, MADI, the number 2, the Max. Do check out her videos. They're really funny, and she was such a pleasure to have on. Also, a reminder to follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Tony the Movie Guy. And you can email us in at TonyTheMovieGuyPodcast@gmail.com. And also, my most important favorite ever announcement, please remember to rate and review our podcast on iTunes. If you could do that, that'd be wonderful. Share the podcast with your friends. We'd like to get it to more people. And you can write in suggestions for guests anytime as well. Like, hey, you should have so-and-so on. And we will try to figure it out. See you next week. Goodbye.